Hey everybody, it's Ika as a change. So I know Rascal typically does these kinds of episodes where he goes on a rant or he goes on to talk about something for Magic Corner, but I really wanted to talk today about Magic Arena. And I know on Twitter here that my next Magic Corner video was going to be how to pick a commander and color pie theory. So I definitely know that color pie theory and how to pick a commander is definitely coming after. So I asked Rascal if I could do a quick Magic Corner video, and he said don't worry, he will have the other two. What I really wanted to talk about was alchemy in Magic Arena. So alchemy, for those who don't know, is kind of like a do-over to say for certain Magic cards, or they add cards that definitely can't be played in paper Magic. While it's okay in theory, it does not work real well on paper. Granted, only these formats, only the cards that I'm going to talk about can only be played in Historic, which, you know, is okay, but it can be in Historic Brawl, Friendly Brawl, or just regular old Historic. I really wanted to talk about this because this really sucks, in all honesty. These mechanics completely just suck. Like, when you add cards to a deck, it gives you an unfair advantage. For example, this card here literally lets you conjure the power 9. Like, why put 6 cards that are banned? No, wait. The Power 9 has 8 banned cards. Actually, sorry, my bad. In Commander, Standard, Legacy, Modern, or these 8 minus that one is completely banned. But we'll go ahead and put all of these in your deck. It's wrong, because what it does is it gives you, the player who cast this card, an unfair advantage. If you're playing in just regular Historic, it gives you an unfair advantage. It gives you 9 free spells in your deck. And frankly, that's not fair. It's not fair to your opponent, and it's only going to get better for you. Especially when this card lets you scry every time it attacks. It breaks the game. Conjure breaks the game, Draft breaks the game. What it does is that it's breaking Magic as a whole. It's not fun. What needs to happen with this is that there needs to be some sort of balance. Like, if you have a card that says draft something from a spell book, or draft a card from this card's spell book, you should have slots available to fill in for that spell book, or just don't have the spell book in there at all, because that's in a sense giving you free cards every single time. We're gonna take the spell Absorb Energy. Absorb Energy, exactly word for word, reads: counter target spell. Cards in your hand that share a card type with it perpetually gains this spell costs 1 less to cast. What? It just literally, it's an instant, so all instants now cost 1 less. And if you're playing in Historic, you cast 4 Absorb Energies. The first Absorb Energy costs 3 mana, but then it goes down to 2 mana. Just blue, counterspell, and then all your instants are now less. And you can already see where I'm going. A 6-drop now costs 2. An 8-drop now costs 4. Fun times, huh? And let's take Key to the Archive. Literally, it says you just draft a key from its spellbook, and then it gives you 2 mana and any combination after that. While it does act like a slightly better Firemind Vessel, it's still wrong on a number of levels to just grab a free card out of its spellbook. And then we have this one, Tome of the Infinite. Literally conjure a random card from the spellbook, and it perpetually gets, you can spend mana as though it were any mana to cast it. So it's like, okay, sure, I'll take a free card and then I'll just play it. It gives you unnecessary value, especially when it comes to Historic. I mean, it's not even safe in Planeswalkers. You have Freyleys, the original Freyleys, Skyshroud Partisan. Its plus ability: untap up to 1 target elf. That elf and a random elf creature in your hand perpetually get +1/+1. I'm sorry, what? That means, let's say I have a Merowyn the Nurturer in my hand, untap an elf, and then that elf plus Merowyn in your hand gets +1/+1. Then guess what? If you can just keep doing that, keeping Merowyn in your hand, then when you finally play Merowyn, she'll be so massive that literally you can tap her just to dump more cards. Not to mention the Conjurer card called Regal Force with that -6. Seek an elf. That's just stupid. It just goes perfectly in any elf deck. Because then who cares at that point what Magic is? This is dumb that all these mechanics just break Magic. We players already complain about Magic being broken in the first place. Why are we just making that gap bigger? There's no sense for us to be making that gap bigger. Wizards, I know you don't watch me because I only have this many subscribers at the time of this video when it gets posted. There truly has to be a point where it just has to stop. Like, these cards are still going to be so broken that instead of being Magic the Gathering Arena, it now becomes Magic the Gathering Alchemy. That's it. Take Wizard class. Here is the original printing. Do you see how fair it is? It costs 1 mana to give you no maximum hand size, costs 3 mana to draw 2 cards, divination, and 5 mana to, whenever you draw a card, put a +1/+1 counter on something. This completely is fair. Now, here's the alchemy version. Do you see where it went wrong? Yes, it does retain the same mana cost, 1 mana to get no maximum hand size. It still costs 3 mana to draw 2 more cards, but then it's 3 mana again to get that ability? What? No, it's 5 mana, not 3, it's 5 mana. But this is an arena, and this is a lot easier to play. This is a lot easier to get to level 3, mind you, instead of actually spending the time and mana and resources into getting it there. This is where I hate alchemy, because there will be some points where here's the original card, but then here's the best version of the card that you guys definitely want to play. Why not just print this version as the original and give it to us who play, paper Magic, the actual physical card? When it says conjure this, have it be a token. Or maybe when it says conjure, make sure it says, pay X amount of mana for it. Don't have, this card say, just put it straight in your deck. Historic Brawl caps us at 100. We want to play regular Brawl, boom, it's capped right there at 60. If you want to play standard, that's fine. Yeah, you want to put it into a standard format or historic type format, sure, that's fine. But don't put it into a historic where everything has to be unique and a singleton and cap us at some point. In all honesty, there should be something there, like, pay 20 mana to put them on the battlefield, or pay 20 mana to put them into your deck. Do something so that way it's not necessarily better, but it's a lot more balanced. Like when it says when you draft a card, you should be able to play it right there. So that way it actually takes the resources away from you. That should be draft. For Seek, you should pay the amount of mana into finding the creature. Like when it says to go seek an elf, like on that Freyalise card from earlier, it should say seek a card, then pay X mana for that card, and then put it onto your battlefield. Same thing with Conjure or Perpetual. Maybe make Perpetual make maybe 2 turns. So this way, it's fair. Because there was one match I had when I was playing my Shauna deck, for the life of me, play my Commander. Because it just, quote, perpetually got more expensive. And it just got so bad to the point that even if I sent her back to the command zone, she still had all those perpetual effects. What I'm basically getting at is, if you want to keep these mechanics in the game, there should be a significant downside, or at least a downside enough to either maybe say, nah, maybe we don't want to play these, but there should be something there to make it balanced. Something that makes it fair for all players, both online and off. In all honesty, I think it could be fun, because putting cards straight into your library or straight into your hand breaks Magic, because no one likes a free tutor. While yes, Omniscience and then any tutor after that is the same thing, we have a bunch of tutors in here because they cost something. They cost mana, life, wait a turn. In some tutors, like Worldly Tutor, Mystical Tutor, they all force you to wait a turn. Or look at Gamble. It literally says tutor out whatever you want, but you have to discard at random, which means you have the potential to lose the card that you just tutored. Something like that. Grim Tutor can get any card you want, but it costs you 3 life on top of 3 mana. Vampiric Tutor is 1 mana, 2 life, any card you want, straight to the top. Demonic Tutor, 2 mana, put it into your hand. There's a cost to these, and it should carry over from paper to digital. If Wizards did that, I personally think it'd be a lot more fair than how it is now. And with that, this episode of Magic Corner comes to an end. Remember to like, share, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more episodes like this, where me and Rascal will talk more about what cool things that there are in Magic, as well as a bunch of random bullshit. Thank you all for watching. See you next time.